The air was thick with the smell of decay and something else, something cold. We thought we were just exploring an abandoned hospital. We were wrong. Dead wrong. Because what we found inside is still looking for us. Three friends, Jake, Kyle, and Maddie, set out to explore an abandoned hospital, seeking a thrill. They would find something else entirely. This is the story of an urban exploration that came at a terrible cost. Jake, the narrator of this story, stared up at the entrance to the old hospital, taking in its features. Cracks spider-webbed along the bricks, and vines had claimed most of the exterior. It was an oddity against the encroaching forest, a relic of a time long since past. Its presence felt wrong, out of place, a fact that only worked to pique his interest even further. "Well, are we gonna stand here all day, or are we checking this sucker out?" Kyle asked, lightly slapping Jake on the back. "Let's go," Maddie interjected, tugging Jake's arm. "Don't want to lose too much daylight." The interior of the hospital was in an even worse state than the outside. Lights had been smashed, graffiti coated the walls, and pink insulation hung from the ceiling. As an avid Urbex enthusiast, Jake was reveling in it. The feeling of being in a place where humans no longer belonged always sent a rush of exhilaration through his veins. He lived for the thrill. But after what happened that day, his passion for urban exploring would be snuffed out forever. They were taking photos of abandoned medical equipment when Kyle brought it up. His voice was a nervous whisper, despite the fact that they were alone. "Hey guys, does it feel like we're being followed? I don't know. It might just be me, but something tells me that we're not the only ones here," Maddie retorted, crossing her arms. "Stop! You're trying to prank me, and it's not going to work this time." "Maddie, I promise I'm not joking." Her expression faltered when she realized the severity of Kyle's tone. Jake sighed. To keep the peace, he proposed a deal. "Tell you what, Kyle, if we check out a couple more rooms and your sixth sense is still going haywire, we can leave. Sound good?" Despite their nods of approval, Jake could feel the shift in the atmosphere. The tension was thicker, almost solid. Knowing what he knows now, he wishes they had left the moment Kyle said something. They continued their search in silence, the pervasive unease still omnipresent. After a while, it was Maddie who broke the silence. "So who's down to find the morgue?" she said, a devilish grin on her lips. Kyle and Jake shot each other a glance. Neither wanted to go, but they knew if they refused, Maddie would call them cowards until the day they died. It only took them about 10 minutes to find it, in the basement at the end of a long hallway. The air was colder down there, lending to the creepy ambiance. As they reached the double doors, Maddie surveyed their expressions. "Okay, who wants to go first?" "I think you should," Kyle retorted. "You suggested it."
Maddie pushed open the doors and led the charge. Standing in that room sent a chill down Jake's spine. Kyle turned to him and whispered a plan for a prank. He would climb into one of the freezer racks while Jake distracted Maddie. But she heard them. "Nice try, dickheads. I can hear you." Maddie glowered at them as they stammered an excuse. And in that moment, bang! A sudden rattling sound erupted from one of the mortuary chambers. It started off quiet, but soon escalated to a loud, violent clanging. They stared at each other, wide-eyed, their faces pale. The sound had grown into a deafening pounding. Something was being slammed hard against the inside of the door. Kyle's earlier premonition had been spot on. They were not alone. They stood frozen, left to helplessly watch as the door buckled under the weight of the blows. Bang! 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 To Jake's utter horror, the door gave way. For a moment, it was silent. Then, something began crawling out of the darkness. A pair of feet emerged, the skin a dark purple, with stitches around the ankles, barely holding them together. A dirty, blood-stained hospital gown followed, then a set of patchwork arms. Finally, the thing's head shot out of the dark. The face would haunt Jake for the rest of his life. Stitches pieced its mottled skin together. Its smile was crooked, filled with too many teeth. And its eyes, they were completely black, devoid of life, devoid of a soul.
Suddenly, Kyle grabbed Jake's arm and ran without a word, Maddie in tow. That gave Jake the resolve he needed to follow. The three of them bolted down the hallway, desperate to get away. His heart jackhammered in his chest as he realized they were being chased. The sound of bare feet slapping against the tile fueled his legs to work harder than they ever had before. He kept running, never once looking back, until he burst out the front doors, unlocked his car, and threw himself into the driver's seat. A second later, Kyle threw open the passenger side door and dove in. His face was pale and soaked in sweat. Still trying to catch his breath, he managed to croak out the words that still haunt Jake to this day. "Jake, where's Maddie?" His heart plummeted. She wasn't there. They sat there for longer than they'd like to admit, completely silent, desperately grasping for a solution. Eventually, they called the cops. The police searched the entire hospital, but found no trace of Maddie, nor the thing that had chased them. It was as if she had simply vanished from existence. But Kyle and Jake knew what really happened. They had abandoned her down there with that monstrosity. They had put their own safety over hers. In the weeks that followed, Jake and Kyle drifted apart. The weight of what they had done or failed to do was too heavy. That is, until he sent Jake a strange text one afternoon. "Hey man, I need to talk to you. Not over the phone, face to face. Meet me by the pond in the park at 8 tonight." The message sounded urgent. As Jake would come to find out, it was.
Jake found Kyle sitting on a park bench. His hair was disheveled, and it appeared as if he hadn't slept in days. "Kyle, are you okay?" He turned to Jake, his bloodshot eyes connecting with his. "Jake, I'm not okay. I don't think I'll ever be okay again." Tears began to well in his eyes. Kyle's terror escalated into a frantic panic. "You haven't been seeing her, have you? So it's only me. I'm screwed, man. It's over. She's going to come for me. Then she'll use me to get you, and..." Jake grabbed Kyle's shoulders and shook him. "Snap out of it. What are you rambling about? Seeing Maddie? What does that mean?" Kyle looked at him with a cold stare. "This is going to sound insane," he said, "but Maddie has been visiting me. Or what's left of her. Her mouth is stitched shut. Her hair is soaked in blood, and now she's wearing one of those hospital gowns. It got her. She's not alive anymore, Jake. That thing from the hospital, it's using her to get me. And once it does, you'll be next." Jake couldn't formulate a response. Kyle openly wept. "I just wanted to say goodbye," he sobbed. "I doubt I'll make it much longer. Jake, I'm so scared." Jake tried to console him, but he knew his words were hollow. His efforts were in vain. Kyle's body was found 2 days later. An apparent suicide. The neighbors claimed they heard hysterical screams, like Kyle was trying to get away from someone or something. And then they reported hearing multiple gunshots, followed by an unnerving silence. The news painted him as a man with a rampant mental condition. But Jake knew that what Kyle saw was real. Because lately, he's been seeing her too. She appeared for the first time the night that Kyle died, standing below a street lamp. His description of her had been deadly accurate. Maddie's eyes were stitched shut, and her arms hung limply by her sides. But her smile, there was something sinister behind it, something evil pulling the strings. 3 days have passed since then. He started seeing Kyle, too. The two of them have been moving progressively closer with each passing day. Last night, they were in his room. They just stared at him, smirking, taunting him. Maddie with her unseeing eyes, and Kyle with what was left of his reconstructed face. Now, Jake realizes they came to deliver a message. His doomsday clock is ticking down. Because when he awoke this morning, splattered across his bedroom wall in a deep crimson were the words, "Tonight, your soul belongs to me." This exploration changed us forever. The line between curiosity and terror became razor thin that night in the abandoned hospital. What do you believe we encountered? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this story sent chills down your spine, please hit that like button and subscribe to Dark Facts for more terrifying tales from the shadows. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss our next descent into the unknown.
And remember, some doors are better left unopened. Sweet dreams, if you can.